You are not meant to fight every battle by yourself. You have a God who sees all things and is ever ready to deploy angels to your aid. There are things you ignore or leave so as to live long and strong in life. There are battles you ignore so as to fight bigger ones tomorrow. Fighting that little battle would sap your strength to fight the bigger one tomorrow. The battle is not yours. Stand and see the salvation of the Lord. God has promised to give His angels charge over you. They are our ministering angels, and battles that confront you are there to fight. In 2 Kings 6, we see the encounter of the prophet Elisha and how angels were sent to come to battle armies that wanted to capture him. Armies from Arameans were sent by the king because Elisha was revealing their secrets to the king of Israel. When they came and surrounded the city Elisha was staying in, angels were deployed in their numbers to defend Elisha. Elisha on his own would not be able to win them because he wasn't a fighter. Even his servant was afraid and cried out. But when his eye was opened, he saw the company of angels that surrounded them. Like Elisha, that battle is not for you to be afraid, thinking they would kill you. In Matthew 10, verse 30 through 31. But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered, for the Father is sovereign and has complete knowledge. 31. So do not fear. You are more valuable than many sparrows. Your very hair is counted. He knows all about you and wants you to be saved. It is not that you should do the fighting. Leave it to the angels of heaven that have been trained for it. Before any battle is won physically, it must have been fought spiritually, and victory has been won. Even Elisha was taking the people of Israel to the promised land. He didn't realize it wasn't by his effort or wisdom. Angels have been deployed from heaven, and we're the ones doing the work. He by chance met the captain of the army of the Lord. It was then he realized that it wasn't them that were defeating the enemies, but armies sent by God from heaven were fighting among them. Joshua 5 verse 13. Now when Joshua was by Jericho, he looked up, and behold, a man was standing opposite him with his drawn sword in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our adversaries? 14. He said, No, rather, I have come now as captain of the army of the Lord. Then Joshua fell with his face toward the earth and bowed down and said to him, What does my Lord have to say to his servant? When you acknowledge your weakness and let him fight the battle, victory is sure. The problem is that we want to fight the battle. We want to exercise power, not knowing that it is not ours to fight. It is not in our place to spend our strength. You might end up being killed. You might still get to heaven. But you have ended up wasting the opportunity and assignment God gave you to achieve. You have left a generation without making an impact. Learn to give the battles to God. Learn to hand over things to Him. Stand aside and see Him do the fighting. When the children of Israel left Egypt, God stirred the heart of Pharaoh, and he pursued the people of Israel to bring them back as slaves. They were so terrified and afraid that the armies of the Egyptians would kill them. But their leader Moses knew that they can't face the army, but needed to hand over the battle to God. And when he consulted God, God told him it is not his battle, but his, and Moses gave him space and fought the battle for them. The fight was the fight of God, for he was the one that hardened the heart of Pharaoh so that he could turn his armies to the sea. This was the counseling word Moses gave them. Then Moses said to the people, Do not be afraid. Take your stand. Be firm and confident and undismayed, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. for those Egyptians whom you have seen today, you will never see again. 14. The Lord will fight for you while you only need to keep silent and remain calm. The angel of the Lord always encamps around those who fear the Lord. He is there to always rescue them no matter the circumstances. Lack of knowing, this would make you begin to struggle or fight your way through. His angels are around us to fight every battle. All you need to do is to wait, watch, and see them fight the battle for you, because the battle is bigger than you. You are not strong enough to handle it. It is their job, and they are there to guide and defend you. Daniel understood that the battle to change the decree or the king's mind won't be possible, and as such was quiet. He was thrown to the lion's den, but God sent his angels to shut their mouth, and he wasn't hurt. But when the conspirators, the enemies that wanted him dead, were caught and cast to the den, before they reached the bottom, the lions devoured them. It was God who stepped in to save his chosen one, someone who obeys him. When Hezekiah was king over the people of Israel, the king of Assyria and his armies wanted to destroy Israel. They sent a letter of mockery that they wanted to fight. Hezekiah, being a good king, who knew that this battle is one he can't fight and win, quickly took it to the house of God, and God responded that he should watch and see him fight. The result of what happened was miraculous. 2 Kings 19, verse 32 through 35. Fighting is good, but it is better to preserve your strength and watch God fight the battle and give you victory. All through the account of great men that fought battles and won, it wasn't them that fought ahead. They gave it to God to do the fighting, and they rejoiced in the victory. At each time during the reign of David, when enemies attacked Israel, he didn't go ahead to fight. He always went to God for God to do the fighting, and it always ended in victory for the people of Israel. Fighting all the battles would cut short your life. Each battle you fight, energy is dissipated, and as such, give it to God, let him do the fighting while you rejoice in the victory that God would win. The battles might not be physical. You might be engaged to battle territorial forces, strong power from your ancestry, forces of darkness that don't want you to prosper or progress in life. How can you as a human being fight off these powers or spirits? You need to give it to God and let him fight the battle. You can't fight the power that has been alive from ancient times and expects to be victorious. You might only end up killing yourself in the course of fighting them, and that is not the plan of God for your life. He gives life and peace in abundance. Hand over the battle, hand over the war and confrontation to him, and watch him win. The weapon for this welfare is not carnal but mighty through God in pulling down strongholds. Learn to engage God at the place of prayer, on your knees, involved in him. That is the best you can do. That is what you ought to do, and not engaging or confronting the enemies yourself. We have a strong who is mighty and always ready to save and defend his people. He has asked that you seek him, and he would be found. Seek him today. Call on him today, and you would be surprised how short the battle would last. It would end in victory for you. You don't need to exact your energy and strength now, when God has given his angels charge over you, to ensure you are always defended. Why fight? Hand over the battle to God today and see victory on every side. He would not leave you stranded. You won't be disgraced. You shall sing the victory song.